So before I begin, I just want to quickly say thank you so much to the men and women that have paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. This episode took place on Memorial Day, and there's no other words I can say other than thank you. And the sacrifice that was made, good Lord. I mean, I can only imagine what they faced. I can only imagine what any member of the military faces. I know people in the military, and I know that they are rock solid human beings, and nobody is perfect, but the bravery that they show day in, day out, just thank you to all the men and women still serving, paid the ultimate sacrifice. All we can say is thank you. Honestly, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, it should be Thank a Veteran Day every single day, whether they passed on or they're still living. But now, it's Real Honesty with John Redlands, my Raw Richmond review, and oh Christ. This episode was asked. First off, I want to start with Enzo. Now, Enzo doing the rap that he did, the stupid rap that he did, where, by the way, I guess he wasn't hit hard enough when he was in WWE, because this was some of the worst shit I've heard. It's 2.5 minutes of my goddamn life I won't get back. He rapped about the woman, or the girl that accused him, falsely accused him apparently of all the stuff that he was accused of. Now, look, am I saying that, he actually did commit assault against her? I don't know. I honestly don't know. If it was a false accusation, she should be charged also. But I think something happened, because Enzo says he didn't know about the investigation. I'm sure he did. He knew about some investigation, didn't inform WWE, and WWE had egg on their face and got rid of him justifiably. He was a shit wrestler, he's a shit promo, he's a shit rapper, and I'm glad WWE got rid of him. And I hope this rap career flames out, so maybe he can realize that being a rat-faced, stupid motherfucker isn't the way to go. Being a piece of shit person isn't the way to go. I've never claimed to be the best looking person in the world or the best person in the world, but I sure as fuck am not like Enzo Amore. And Enzo Amore is garbage, and I am glad WWE got rid of him. So, Enzo, I hope your rap career flames out. You get up on all the haters and all this shit. Well, Enzo, you're a piece of shit. You've always been a piece of shit. No one liked you backstage, and it's good that you're gone. The ropes should have knocked you out a whole lot harder than they did back about 2 years ago at that pay-per-view. Remember that? Remember when he got knocked out by the goddamn ropes because he don't know what the fuck he's doing in the ring? Well, that's essentially how I hope his rap career goes. He's rotten. Anyway, so let's get to the notes. Braun, super over. Super over, duh, of course he was. The commentary was fucking ass tonight. Oh my god, Graves was botching, Cole was botching, that's a given. And I know they're overproduced. They're being shouted at by a, 75,000-year-old man that's, all roided up and everything by shouting in their ears. Vince is insane. Coach just needs to go. Have it be a two-man commentary team. We do not need three-man commentary teams on any of these shows. Pay-per-views, I get it, but not on the TV shows. I don't care if they're 3 hours or 10 hours. We do not need three-man commentary teams. Get rid of this shit. NXT, okay, whatever. But Raw and SmackDown, we need to go down to two-man commentary teams. Braun is super over. Balor comes out. Balor slaps Braun because he's... Braun says, you put up a big fight for a little man. And of course, then Braun, proceeds to throw him. Throw him pretty damn far. And of course, Kurt comes out talking about the Money in the Bank match. Stop having Kurt cut promos, for the love of Christ. Stop having Kurt cut promos, please. He makes a match between Braun and Balor, and it was fine. It was fine. Kevin Owens was out for commentary, and he says at one point, do you even have friends, Cole? Owens is going to be so tremendous on commentary when he retires. I think this will be his last wrestling contract, and he will retire. I think it's a 5-year deal, so he'll retire after that, which I'd be all for. He will be tremendous on commentary. He could be tremendous as a trainer in the Performance Center. Kevin Owens will be a now WWE lifer, and that is great. He's great on commentary. Braun versus Balor, it was fine. It was fun. They put on a good match at the end of last week's Raw, and then we got this, and it ended up being a DQ because Owens runs down after shouting encouragement at Braun, and then Balor, when either man had the advantage, Owens comes down, causes a DQ, and then Owens, of course, uses the weapon as a ladder, as Rich Brennan said, and then he got chased off at one point, and Braun threw a ladder about 20,000 yards. Actually, he just threw it halfway up the ramp and almost hit Owens, even though he was pulling up on it. And then Owens is like, wait, I need to leave. And then he's going to face Bobby Roode later because Kurt was mad at him. I guess suddenly we're forgetting that Stephanie said that she assumed power over Kurt or something like that, and that Kurt has no power anymore or usurped him. I don't know what's going on. Now Kurt suddenly has the ability to make matches again. Great, whatever, booking, hey, hooray, fuck you guys. Especially fuck you, Kevin Dunn. No reason in particular besides the fact that he hates women. He's he's a human looking beaver, and unfortunately that's an insult to beavers. The beavers can actually be useful to build a dam. What is Kevin Dunn useful for? Oh, besides mocking. That's what he is. He should be mocked and shamed until he leaves the company. And I'm not for bullying, but Kevin Dunn's rotten. He's a rotten human being. And if anybody wants to defend him being part of the company, besides Vince, I mean, Vince, who the fuck's going to buy into Vince? Besides Fox and USA Network, they're apparently going to buy into Vince because they're throwing about $90 billion, both companies are. It's actually $1 billion and change, I think, over 5 years. So like 205 something million a year. And then USA Network's throwing who knows how much. I mean, I haven't actually heard the figures on the USA Network contract. Whatever. I'm mad about this. But okay, they had a DQ. Okay, whatever. Elias keeps on trolling the crowd. Oh, we need to get the lighting better. We need to cut the mic audio for the crowds. We need to make it all about me. And Elias just keeps tuning up. Elias is super over. He was great. And then Seth comes down and basically chases Elias off, throwing his stool out of the ring. Yes, we just had another man throw another man's hard stool out of the ring. You should use some stool softener. I've used stool so many times that I think that I just should have done phrasing with this. Moving on from this. I'm actually sitting on a chair, thankfully not a stool. Stools are uncomfortable. It's a stool sample, if you will. A sampling of the stool jokes. Then we have Seth versus Jinder. And it was fine. It actually was fine. This might be, maybe it was because Seth was in it. This might have been the best match that Jinder's had in a while. Jinder is not really capable of carrying on a great match by himself. He's not. He's barely capable of carrying on a decent match. But Seth can get people to a good match. He can bring enough out of people. And no, Jinder isn't particularly that good, but he wasn't particularly terrible here. At least that I saw. Maybe I just had rose-tinted glasses on. Sunil was kicked out, and then he came back, and then Seth buckle bombed Sunil by using an actual foreign object on Jinder. Yes, I mean that's something somebody else tweeted, but it had to be said. So whoever tweeted that, if you're watching this, credit to you. I'm not taking credit for that joke. And then Jinder before that had used a chair, and then had not gotten the pin, and then Seth got and cracked a chair on Jinder's back several times. Jinder couldn't figure out how to take the chair shot particularly well, and then Sunil got cracked pretty bad. So, yeah, it was a way to protect Jinder. I mean, Jinder technically got the win, but we're going to get Seth probably versus Elias at Money in the Bank because as Seth is celebrating, Elias hits him with the guitar from behind. Seth falls off of the announcer's table and then gets stretchered out, but then decides to walk out. I guess Seth doesn't need no damn stretcher unless his knee gives out. Dear God, hopefully that doesn't happen again. And then we had happy birthday chants from the crowd as he was being stretchered out and then walking out. Dick move, Richmond. I mean, I know that you don't have that many pro sports teams, but come on, Virginia. You could be better than that. And then we had an exhibition where Nia was going to beat up some jobber, and I didn't catch the woman's name, but Ronda Rousey was out on commentary. Nia just did this whole anti-bullying thing just a few weeks ago. I've been bullied by Alexa up to Mania and even past that, even into like Backlash with the whole Moment of Bliss thing. And now all of a sudden Nia's just flipped around. She's a bully again. This is the quickest face to heel turn that I've seen, and a heel to face to heel turn that I've seen maybe since Big Show in 2008, where he came back as a face of No Way Out 2008, and then by the end was beating up Rey Mysterio. And then unfortunately was not allowed to crack Floyd Mayweather, the woman-beating piece of shit, skull right in two. It would have been nice if he could have done that, because that's what should happen to Floyd Mayweather. As great of a defensive fighter as he is, and I'm not saying his boxing skills shouldn't shouldn't play a factor. As a human being, he's rotten, and he deserves to be beat for the fact that he's a woman beater. But then again, of course, doing it in front of his own son, Floyd is a coward. So the whole thing is like, Nia's like, this woman looks like she could take more, beating her up and this kind of stuff. And then Ronda's staring her down, and it just fucking Christ, this is so stupid. This is just so stupid. And yeah, it's an angry rant. I apologize. You know what, fuck it. I'm not going to apologize. If you guys didn't want to hear an angry rant, I'm going to warn you about it. I'm going to put Richmond, Raw Richmond Review, Angry Rant Edition. they had a ton of promos, like from all the women that were going to participate in the Gauntlet match. Sasha Banks, Dana was doing math, not Scott Steiner math, thankfully. Scott Steiner does the best math. Where is AOP? Where has AOP been? Have they been on the show since their Raw debut? I don't know if they've been on house shows. Anybody know where they are? Seriously, did they show back up in NXT? Do they have heat with Vince? Did one of them get injured? Did Ella Ring decide to put them in solitary confinement until they brought him back as their manager? What's going on? Where the hell's AOP? Anyway, Bray and Matt versus the Ascension. Okay, it was fine. Squash. Poor Ascension. Of course, at one point the tag is Bray is getting tagged doing the spoopy backwards thing that he does. Graves calls it the climax. Graves likes it when two men climax with each other. I'm sorry. Just what the fuck. Graves is at least having fun, and being the woken mark that he is absolutely fantastic. And then the B team hilarity. They wanted a tag title match, but then they decide, wait, we have to win the other tag teams over, and we're gonna have a barbecue. That's what they're gonna have. I don't know what was on Sarah's lip. One of two things: either a bad attempt at makeup, or her boyfriend secretes oil. I'm not exactly sure which is which. It might have been better if she had done something like this, one here, and maybe done some like eye makeup there. Because Sarah's a really good athlete, and actually has a very unique look and a very good look, and I think is a very good project that will be better in a couple of years. This whole thing, whatever it was not a good thing at all. Elias versus Owens. Or not Elias versus Owens, Rude versus Owens. I don't know why I wrote Elias here. It would have been Elias versus Owens actually might have been better because this was a bit botchy. Rude is a really good athlete, but is floundering as a babyface. I do not understand this shit at all. They hit some good moves, except one move where Rude is supposed to go for a kick on the apron and clearly was just waiting for Owens to trip him up. I mean, Rude is, of course, almost 40, so maybe he doesn't want to hurt himself. I get it. But still, it was ridiculous. And then Owens pins Rude and then gets chased back by Braun. And then Braun catches him, power slams him twice, and then Braun chokes out and then power slams Rude, showing there's no friends with Money in the Bank. So, okay, that was fine. Whatever. And then we had Sammy's public apology. Vince owes us an apology for last week's segment. They had Sammy double down on it. Sammy should not be apologizing for this shit at all. If anything, creators should be apologizing to Sammy. Vince should gift him a universal title run for that. I mean, I'm not saying Sammy should necessarily leapfrog other guys that are in contendership, but come on. Sammy deserves a whole lot more after that bullshit. That was complete fucking bullshit. And there is nobody that can defend that at all. How good is WWE at digging holes? Vince, how good are you digging holes? I mean, other than the one you're digging for yourself right now. Granted, they have the TV contracts, as I said before, so they don't need to fucking worry about this shit, do they? The good news is we didn't have Stephanie on the goddamn show, so that was good. We didn't need that stupid moron there. And Reigns wasn't on the show. He's spending time with his family for Memorial Day. The man, I may not care for the character necessarily. The man works hard for his family. Fans need to stop being dicks to him. As far as coming up and asking for autographs and making up shit stories about him, let him spend time with his family. May not be a fan of Reigns' character, but come on. The man himself hasn't done anything to really irritate me that I can think of. I'm not a fan of Reigns, but I will defend people, I will defend him in regards to how people act towards him. Let's take it easy here. I may rant about Reigns, the character, but come on, guys. Let's not be dicks here. As I say, as I'm going to be a massive dick further on. Lashley and Zayn, I hate this. Lashley came out and cut a promo, and Lashley's decent on promos. He's not great. He's better as a heel. He's a lot better as a heel. They need to have him fucking turn heel out of this damn thing, or turn heel by SummerSlam. They're gonna have a match of Money in the Bank. Please, this has kickoff written all over. They're gonna have it on the kickoff, aren't they? This shouldn't be on the kickoff. Lashley and Zayn could have a really good match if you give them about at least 12 to 15 minutes. And Lashley's probably going to beat Zayn. I don't get what they're doing with Lashley. Why did you bring him back as a face? I mean, bring him back as a face initially. He should have turned on Braun and should be feuding with Braun right now, quite frankly. Lashley should be in the Money in the Bank match if we're going to do it. It just doesn't seem like they know what they're doing with Lashley. Sure as fuck don't know what they're doing with Sami Zayn. I swear they're trying to make Sami Zayn quit the goddamn company. It's fucking ridiculous. Drew versus Chad Gable, and it's over. Drew wins. Okay, cool. You could have given these guys 10 minutes. But whatever, instead of all the backstage promos and all that bullshit. B-Team Barbecue, this went on too long. You had a food fight, and then, of course, the ring's all messy. And Vince is like, we'll send the women out right now, because that's what Vince thinks. The women should be cleaning up after a food fight. The women didn't have to clean up after a food fight, but basically they had to clean up and get the crowd back into it after the crowd really stopped caring about this shit. Rhino was kind of funny because, of course, Rhino's eating because fat shaming has not gone away in 2018. Rhino gets thrown through a table by the B-Team, who's upset. They did the best they could, but this segment was rotten. It really was. It just. I get it's a holiday edition, but they gotta stop with this shit. This stuff wasn't even funny 10 years ago. It's not funny. It's even less funny now. They're gonna have a tag title battle or tag battle royal next week. I assume the BT will probably win that, and then face Matt and Bray at, say, I don't know. They'll face them at Money in the Bank and lose. I would have them lose because I think Bray and Matt still have legs left in them as a champion or as champions. We have a promo before the Gauntlet. Charlie, I think, wants a special hug from Bayley, if you know what I mean. Charlie tends to eye a lot of the women and a lot of the men. Nothing wrong with that. She swings both ways. She's happy. Cool. Whatever. Charlie's awesome. So's Bayley. Bayley, they need to stop scripting her and everybody else so goddamn much. These promos are goddamn rotten. So now we have the women's Gauntlet match. And I just want to say very, very quickly, this is what bothers me, WWE. This is what bothers me. You give a little over 2 hours to the men right before Elimination Chamber, that great Gauntlet match. Seth lasted like, an hour and 5 minutes in? It was like nearly a 2-hour match, if not just over. Okay? You give the women not even 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes, and you have 7 women in this Gauntlet match. You could have cut out some of these promos, or at least cut out some of the backstage stuff, and what you could have cut out the barbecue thing. I'm sorry, you could have cut out the barbecue thing and just had the women. Give the women 40, 45 minutes, and then okay, something's a little good. No, you gotta shit on the women again. And Liv and Sarah, I don't know about them working long singles matches because that's what Gauntlet matches, series of singles matches, but they're getting better. Sarah more than Liv. Liv's not terrible. Dana sucks. Sorry, Dana's not any good in the ring. I'm not saying she sucks as a person. She just ain't any good in the ring. But you had enough women there where if you paced it right, you could have had these matches go a while, each at least 6 minutes, and then finish 6 minutes, or have a quick start and then have 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, and then the last part takes 10 to 15, and then you have something like that. But no, the total of this was 25 minutes, maybe? And I don't even know if it was 25 minutes. You had Bayley and Liv. Bayley was number 1, Liv was number 2, and Liv's gone already. And then Sarah Logan, or as Cole said, Sarah Morgan, because Cole's a fucking idiot. Sarah lasts a little bit, but then gets beat by Bayley. Then we have Ruby come out. Ruby ends up beating Bayley. It was fine. It was fine. A match from Ruby beating Bayley was the right call. Because I knew right when Bayley was number 1, I said she's going to get through the first 2 people and then lose to whoever number 4 is. And that was Ruby. So it'd be number 1, number 2. So by the time the 4th woman comes in, and it was Ruby. Ruby beat her. Okay. And then Ruby beats Dana really, really quickly. Because Dana, sorry, just stop having Dana try to wrestle. You want to have her be a manager? Fine. Mickey then gets beaten by Ruby. And then we have Sasha comes out. The instant Mickey came out at number 6, I knew Sasha was winning. So the idea, and shout out to at BSG 10, I think it's 103079. Brandon, forgive me if I got that Twitter handle a little bit wrong. You came up with the idea of Sasha winning and Bayley costing her the briefcase at Money in the Bank. And I like that idea. I like your way of thinking. Ruby losing to Sasha bothered me, but I had a feeling when Ruby came out about halfway through the thing, I'm like, okay, she'll survive till the end, but she won't win. And unfortunately, she didn't. But here's the bullshit that fucking bothers me. One, they book the women like this. They booked them in such a rushed match. Why did you even bother? Why didn't you cut just 2 women out of this thing and have it be a 5-woman gauntlet match? Cut Liv, no offense to Liv and Dana, but cut Liv and Dana out and just have a 5-woman gauntlet match. Because then at least you're giving some time to the women, but no, you got to have 7 women and you're rushing everything, you're botching everything. It just wasn't any goddamn good. It was fucking rotten. And these women should not be treated like this. Sasha and Ruby did have a decent finals, decent final match and everything. But it wasn't. I just gotta say, this is one of the worst. It's pretty damn close to the worst Raw. It's D. I'll say a D because it wasn't as bad as last week's, not quite, but it was pretty damn bad. This is very, very missable. There really isn't one thing you necessarily need to see. And I feel bad for Ruby. I feel bad for the great amount of talent that they have. They are not doing right by them. And also I want to say in closing that if anybody takes issue with any views that I have or any of my friends have as far as, being pro-LGBT, you can get away from this channel. You can get away from social media. Go out and actually get goddamn educated on the fact that people are born this way, that you don't just decide to be this way, and no amount of fixing or therapy is going to work. People are who they are, and we need to accept that. Okay? You can't accept that bullshit. Get the fuck off social media. You better stay the fuck off my social media. Stay the fuck away from my friends. And some of my friends, one in particular, knows that I'm talking about her. And I'm not saying you stay the fuck away, but I'm saying people need to stay the fuck away from bothering you about your views and being pro-LGBT. But anyway, yeah, D for this episode. I was going to go F, and I'm like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as last week's because we didn't have the Lashley sister segment, which is still the worst segment of the year, by the way, and may actually end up trumping the whole of Backlash. So that's it. Anyway, D. It's what I want to give to a few of the women on the roster. Yeah, I know. Look, I'm sorry. Find a lot of women beautiful. I would never have a chance anyway, and even if I did, I ain't gonna take it. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritland, my Raw Richmond review, and I will see you all tomorrow. The Derb and I will be here tomorrow for SmackDown. Well, at his place.